G'day, it's Dave here, Dave Mills, with another exciting Tarka home video. Now, I'm going to be talking about consistency in the opening based off logical principles, but it's just about being consistent early on and having a consistent middle game excitement and how to get to the fun, basically, safely. So the first rule is you want to try and to be consistent at the start. You don't want to break explore sub-center sort of openings, or there's two ways of being very consistent. One is to play an opening that develops pieces rapidly and castles the king that way before it strikes in the center, or you want to play in the center. But my recommendation is to play at least two center pawns. So typically, let's play the two center pawns. Now, imagining, of course, that they respond in kind, we can see that each is sharing the center quite nicely. And if white plays again, you don't want to break the opening rule. Don't move the same piece twice unless it's a knight. Because the knight's a special case, it just magnifies its power the more it cooperates with the other knights, so forming a cavalry unit. So now white could play here and black could play here, and we can actually see some outpost squares for white here, and we can see some outpost squares for black. Now the squares are on the opposite colors, and it means that the dark square bishop archer pair are going to be stronger for white, and the light squared bishop archer pair need to consider how to get ahead of the structure so they don't become weakened by pawns on the same color. So it would be good to capture their light squared pieces, bishop and archer. That would be tremendous. That would be a positive exchange. So now this typically has this is a typical opening, or it could have just easily been here. And but let's just have a look at this. And black has copied. Now that's about the extent. I'll talk about black for now. So unless there's always possible tactics and early threats and pressures that you might have to be aware of. But now we can see the benefits of this is that the pieces are very free-flowing now. The princess, the queen, and the prince are very, very free-flowing, but that's not really a concern for the prince because the prince can jump out anyway. So a square that I like the prince to be pointing at is the gargoyle. The gargoyle starts out more powerful than the prince, and so it'd be tremendous if you could capture and pressure that gargoyle. And since they haven't played out this pawn here, it's a very dynamic square. Now this is also a dynamic square. This is a very good square because it is covering any sort of checks by the queen that are early on moves, because obviously your king is out, and this is a nice active square. But this is not so strong because after queen check you lose the prince. But these two diagonals here are very nice, and what we've done is we've developed a piece. But first I would like to say that since we have the question is before us about how we're going to play, it's typical that knights before bishops, bishops before archers, archers before prince. The prince is very flexible anyway. I also try and apply the rule that you don't want to put your pieces in front of your center pawns unless that opening calls for it. So this move here is not a bad move because this king pawn is not defended. It does block in your king pawn, but your knight has squares that it can go to very quickly, very rapidly, and just sort of get into the action. The thing about this move here is though that it does drop your princess squares that it's active to, and so I think this is also a good choice because I'm choosing castle kingside because it's one piece quicker than the queen side, because you want to get your king to safety. So rule 1, play at least 2 center pawns to their